Hi, I'm Tom.
And I'm Tash.
And we're both coaches at the fantastic top-notch gyms here in Soho, London. We're going to be breaking down some workout plans, all based around Hyrox, which is right now one of the hottest topics within our industry. So the first question of the day is, what is Hyrox? Hyrox is a functional fitness race that right now is taking our industry by storm. And the reason why is because it's accessible to people whether you've been in the gym for a very, very long time or you're very, very new to things. It's a good way of having something in the calendar to aspire and work towards and benchmark your fitness. The second question of the day is, how does the race work? Tash?
So essentially, Hyrox is an 8-kilometer run split into 1-kilometer intervals. Between each interval, you've got to complete one functional movement. So you start with 1-kilometer run, you then go into 1,000 meters on the ski erg. Then you go back to your 1-kilometer run, you then got 50 meters of a sled push. After that, you run again, you come back, you've got a sled pull for 50 meters. You run again. You come back, you've got 80 meters of burpee broad jumps. You run again. After that, we row for 1,000 meters, and then we run, next one is farmer's carry with 2 kettlebells for 200 meters. After that, you've got your sandbag lunges for 100 meters, and you finish with 100 wall balls.
In regards to the divisions of race categories within Hyrox, there are 3 main competition categories. You have singles, both open and pro. You have doubles, both open, pro, and mixed. And also you have team relays.
So if it's your first Hyrox and you're a little bit nervous about doing it, I recommend grabbing a friend, grabbing a colleague, and doing a doubles, whether that's same gender or mixed gender. That is completely up to you, but Tom and I, for example, we did it together. You still have to do the runs at the same time, but you get to split everything up however you want. So for example, if Tom was better at skiing than I am, which is not true, Tom would then maybe do 500 meter ski, I could do 250, and then Tom could finish it off, and then we go on the run together. So it's a way to sort of break it up a little bit more.
Another great reason why starting off and choosing a Hyrox doubles as a way of entering the world of Hyrox is because the training can be quite challenging, can be quite tough, and there's nothing better than finding a partner to come and join you in with those workouts. Make sure you're training consistently, so on race day, you can deliver and perform at the level you want to deliver and perform. Another great thing about booking into a Hyrox is that obviously you need to find your local gym or entity that can obviously coach you to the level you need to be with what we call simulation training. And that's going to get your body, your mind prepared for what's in store. If you were to book a marathon, you wouldn't just turn up on race day and do it. You would build up your body to the level of fitness required so you can execute what you'd like to do on the day of the event.
So a few reasons why you would do a simulation training, for example, would be to work on compromised legs. So when you're running, it might be easy for you to do an 8-kilometer run just as it is. But working on compromised legs after you've pushed that sled, whether it's 100 kilos, 150 kilos, pushing that sled and then going straight into a 1-kilometer run can be tough. So it's working on those legs, making sure that you've done a bit of weight training and then gone into the runs and vice versa. Tom?
Another element is compromised running. So as much as it's all good and well being able to go out there and do an 8, a 10, a 15 or a 20K, the pace setting in Hyrox, considering it is quite interval based and you're going to be running in 1K chunks, it will mean that your pace will need to be a bit more elevated rather than if you're going to go out and pound a consistent 5, 10, 15K. So you need to take those actions into considerations. The vast majority of your time in a Hyrox is going to be running. And a lot of people overlook that. And it's something that on race day can catch out a lot of people. So running, and running more is going to be a lot of your training in your preparation for Hyrox.
So another reason we work on simulations is to work on those transitions between stations. So going between that pull motion and that push motion, going between weighted movements and the erg work.
On race day, there is absolutely nothing worse than being called out for false reps. You're going to be tired on race day with all the running, with all of the different elements you're doing in regards to the functional elements in between. There's nothing worse than being pulled up for a bad burpee, a bad wall ball when you are very fatigued and tired. So another reason why simulation is key is with the right coach, they will tell you how to perform the technique safely, effectively, and to count the reps. There's nothing worse than being dragged back on a burpee broad jump, I promise you. We've devised a program that we're going to walk you through now that is going to be built all around Hyrox, and the great stuff about it, the more tough parts about it, the technicals that are obviously very, very key and important, the rules and making sure those reps are counted correctly, all the way through from week 1 all the way through to week 4. Now, the importance of this program is that it's all based around somebody that's maybe recently booked a ticket, but has never even tried any of the movements within Hyrox, all the way through to somebody that's having a passing interest in the world of Hyrox, but they haven't yet tried to buy a ticket because they can be quite challenging to get.
Let's go.
Hyrox! So before we perform any form of physical activity, be that Hyrox or any form of exercise within the gym where you've got a workout plan prepared for that day, it's very important we mobilize, we get that body prepared and ready for what's about to come. We're going to run through some quick little drills that you're going to be able to see that we do to make sure our bodies are prepared and ready for what's about to come.
Okay.
Oh yeah, baby. Ready? 1. Yeah.
And then Cobra.
Yeah, perfect.
1, 2, 3. 2 push-ups.
Elbow me, Tash. Do you not like me?
Good.
Cool. So week 1 is about breaking down some of the fundamentals of Hyrox into a simply run routine to make sure that you feel comfortable, prepared and ready for these movements. The opening element is going to be a run. We have a 2-minute 30 set with a 30-second off period for 5 sets. So 2-minute 30 seconds of running with a 30-second off. Secondary movement is going to be bodyweight squats with overhead reach for 15 reps of 4 sets. Now this exercise is going to simulate the wall balls. Set 3 is going to be half burpees for 8 reps of 3. The reason why we're going to start off with the half is so we can break down the fundamentals and the technicals. So as the weeks progress, we can really start stepping up the heat when it comes to the burpees, going into a full burpee all the way through to the burpee pull jump. Set 4 is going to be row erg for 45 seconds with a 15-second off for 6 sets. Again, fundamentals, technique, drilling it in to make sure we are covering the quickest distance in the best possible way. Set 5 is going to be ski erg. Same principle applies of 45 seconds with a 15-second off for 6 sets. And the last movement of the day is going to be bodyweight lunges, 10 reps by 3. Which is our squat to overhead. Now this exercise here is going to simulate the wall ball. Now the wall ball is one of the hardest stations purely because it's right at the end of the race when you are absolutely fatigued, you're absolutely tired, and then you're then being told to throw the ball up at a target countless times, countless reps. It's important we get this fundamental technique correct. So on race day, you are not compromised. You are not wasting energy. You're not wasting reps and being called back and wasting your time. So pay attention here. What Tash is going to do for me from this position is go nice and deep down into that squat position. Now, once she gets down to full range of movement, it's very important that your bum comes past the level of the knee. So really concentrate on developing that full range of movement down. And from that position, Tash is going to drive up to the ceiling and throw the arms right above that head. Very important we count those reps with the bum going past the level of the knees and driving above. So that's 2, controlled, and driving 3. 4, give me 10, Tash. 5, controlled and power. 6, controlled and power. 7, 8, good. 2 more. 9, and that is 10, fantastic. Now it's very important and key with this exercise, you're almost simulating in your head that you are holding that 4, 6 or 8 kilo ball and you're using your body's energy to drive that ball up. Very important, get that fundamental right for exercise 2. Exercise number 3 is the half burpee. Now the burpee, a lot of people do find in the whole race of Hyrox as being one of the more enjoyable stations, even though the burpee in the fitness industry is known as being the absolute beast killer. So please pay attention as we break down a fundamental movement here. So what Tash is going to do in the half burpee position is get those hands down to that ground. Fantastic. From that position, she's going to spring and drive the feet back. Using her core, she's going to drag those feet back in before she drives back up to stand. Nice and easy. Very important from this movement, when you come down and you spring out, you keep that core tight as the hips extend and the legs drive back. Keep the core tight before you drive to the top. That's 3. Give me 10, please. That's 4. Nearly miscounted there. That's 5. Good. That's 6. Drive to the top. Good. That's 7. Good. That's 8. That's 9. Good. Last one. and that's 10, fantastic. As the weeks progress, we're going to be adding more to the burpee. So if we're going from a half to a full, to the full cycle, which we complete in Hyrox, which is the full burpee broad jump. Now, first things first, before you even take a seat on here, you have this gear selector here. On the damper, put it somewhere between 7 and 8. A lot of people go straight to the rowing machine, they crank it up to 10 thinking it's going to be necessarily harder. That it's not necessarily the case. 7 to 8 for Hyrox is absolutely great, especially if you're getting new to things. From this position, you're going to put your feet inside those stirrups and make sure they're tied in nice and tight. You don't want to be in a position where those feet come loose, especially on race day. So get comfortable with the number selection that your shoe position needs to be in and making sure you're nice and tied in. Now from this position, Tash's going to hold on for dear life. Now from here, she's going to drive back through the hamstrings and glutes. She's going to row right into that core for me before she then comes in. Now what's very, very important about the rowing machine is that concentrate on quality over quantity. Sometimes people go straight into that rowing machine and they're concentrating on volume, 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 pace, pace, pace. And it's not necessarily the case. What you need to concentrate on doing is using every muscle in that body to drive back, row hard, and then breathe on that way in. Exhale, breathe in on that way in. So as you drive and push through those hamstrings, you're trying to develop as many watts, as much force as you possibly can in one stroke before you then recover on that way back in towards the fan. Welcome to the ski erg, our 5th exercise of our week 1 program. First things first before we get going, once again, that damper setting somewhere between 7 and 8 is absolutely fine. Now what we're going to start on is the issues with the ski erg and what we see as coaches very, very, very consistently. So the number 1 exercise I see done wrongly is just a simple traction of dragging down. And a lot of the times people opt for that butterfly technique. They're coming high, they're coming around, and all you're doing here, it looks really cool by the way, but all you're doing here is wasting energy. By bringing it round, you are making the distance from here to here longer by coming out wide. The trick with the ski erg is to try and keep the tension on the cable from here to here. That's where you're going to really generate the force and the power. So what you need to try your best to do is come high, come low, and drag those cables to the pockets before you then drive the hips forward, big muscle groups within that body, reload and drag again. The key with the ski erg, the key is to play around with the technique. You'll start looking down at that screen, you'll start seeing your 500 meter split time, you'll see it slowly start coming down when you really concentrate and focus in on the best way of completing it. But it's here to here, keeping that distance nice and short, and when you're engaging with the cable, drag it, really get all the big muscle groups involved before we reload and we repeat. Driving down, driving up. Try not to throw the chest so low down to the ground and try not to come down into the squat as well. Again, wasted energy. Exercise 6 of week 1 is the walking lunge. Now again, as we're going to progress through the weeks, we're going to start adding more and more intensity to our workouts. For today, we keep it nice and simple with body weight only. So from this position here, a big rule in Hyrox is that knee needs to kiss the ground. So again, do not waste your time, do not waste your energy. When you have the coaches around you on race day, they will be checking that. So please make sure that knee is kissing the ground every single rep, and Tash will show us now how that works. So take a big step forwards. From that position, knee comes down, kisses that ground before you alternate right side to left side. Keeping that chest upright as we come down and powering up through that posterior chain back to the top of that movement. Control down and powering up. Control down and powering up. Down and powering up. 2 more. Good. And last one. Fantastic. The walking lunge.
All right, welcome to week 2. We are starting strong with the treadmill run like we did in week 1. Same kind of concept. We're going to start with a 2 minutes and 30 seconds on with a 30-second rest. Now last week we did that for 5 sets. This time we're going to up that to 8. If you're feeling comfortable, you can try to up that intensity, up that pace. If not, you keep that same pace that you kept for week 1. After that, we're moving on to our squat and press. Very similar to our squat and reach that we did in week 1. However, this time we're going to add a set of dumbbells. So we're doing 10 reps, 4 to 5 sets. You choose how you're feeling today. After that, we're moving on. Last week we did half burpees. Today we're moving on to full burpees, which means chest all the way to the ground. We're doing 8 reps for 4 sets. After that, we are back on the row and the ski. So again, that row, we're keeping it same as last week, 45 seconds on, 15 seconds off. Last week we did 6 reps. This week we're doing 8 to 10. See how you're feeling, test yourself. Same thing on the ski, 45 seconds on, 15 off, 8 to 10 reps. After that, we're again going back to what we did last week, those lunges. However, this week we're adding a set of dumbbells. Again, you choose your weight. It's gonna be 10 meters, 3 to 4 sets. All right, so we are on that squat press. Last week we did a squat and a reach. Today we're adding a set of dumbbells. So Tom, grab your dumbbells. Good, bring them up to just about shoulder height. Perfect. From here, we squat down nice and low. Again, as Tom said, we want to break that parallel. So get as low as you can, drive through those heels as we come all the way back up, and we use that drive to bring those dumbbells overhead, fully extending, pop that head through at the top, we bring it back in, we squat all the way down, break that parallel, and we squat all the way up, pressing overhead. Again, mimicking that wall ball motion. Okay, so last week we did a half burpee. Today, we're upping that intensity, we're doing a full burpee. So very similar start as to last week. Tom's gonna place his hands just where the tip of his toes are. From here, he's gonna kick back into that plank, dropping all the way down, chest to the ground. And then from here, he comes back up, brings those feet nice and wide, and he stands all the way back up at the top, squeezing the glutes at the top. All the way down, kicking back, chest to the ground, all the way back in and up. Now, a common mistake is when you get into that plank position, a lot of people will do a push-up. So doing a push-up all the way down, you're just exerting too much energy. No need, just drop all the way down. As you come back up, nice and wide stance, and then use that to squeeze the glutes to come back up to the top. All the way down, and all the way up. And if you're feeling spicy, you can always add a little bit of a jump at the top. So as he comes in, little jump at the top. You choose. We are onto those walking lunges like we did last week, but this time, again, we've got the dumbbells. Now, I like to always think that we should clean those dumbbells, bring them up on the shoulders to mimic that sandbag that you will have in Hyrox. So from here, like we said last week, we're gonna take a nice and wide step forward, making sure that back knee almost kisses the floor. Well, it needs to kiss the floor all the way down, back up, step in, and then we alternate legs all the way down. Keep that chest open, making sure we're not starting to crouch forward. So open up the chest, all the way down, kiss the floor with that knee, back up, good. Every time, squeeze that glute, back in. There you go, very nice.
Welcome to week 3. This is the first week where we really start stepping up the intensity. So we're gonna open up with running at 500 meter distances between 6 to 8 sets. So get to the rep 6 and feel how you feel, and if you wanted to maybe increase to 7 and 8, you're welcome to do that, but 6 is fine. If you can push for 8, fantastic. Secondary set is going to be the wall ball. Don't worry so much about a target height, but the reps and set ranges are going to be 10 reps of 3 sets. Have a small break in between, call it 15 to 20 to 30 seconds, and launch again when you're ready. The third set is the full burpee broad jump, which is what we've been building up over the previous 2 weeks. You have 8 reps for 4 sets. Once again, take a little breather at the end of the 8 and then continue. Try to make sure that 8 reps are unbroken. Set 4, we have rowing. You're gonna be 250 meters for 2 sets with a break in between each set. We're then gonna load up with the ski erg for 250 meters for 2 sets, once again with a break in between each set. We're then following up with sandbag lunges for 10 meters of 5 to 6 sets, 10 to 20 kilograms. And then to finish off, we have sled pushing, 10 meters for 3 sets. Week 3. Now, over the previous 2 weeks, we've slowly started to kind of develop and ingrain that wall ball technique. Everything from the squat to overhead push, to the thrusters we completed on week 2, and now it's game time. Week 3 and 4, we're gonna get that wall ball involved. Now, as we're still progressing the movement, we're not gonna go for the full target that is in a Hyrox race. We're just gonna get used to using all the energy that we're developing as we go down low to that ground to drive through and try and explode force up above and over that head. So Tash now is going to explain how, well, not explain, but show us how this works. So remember and replicate that movement. You're gonna drive down, that bum's gonna go past the level of the knees before we drive and we throw. Now the most important part about wall balls is that think about a pendulum swinging. You need to keep the body, the ball in motion. The more you pause, the more you're going to fatigue. Take a breath and drop the ball when you need to. That's absolutely not a problem. But when you do get flowing, you do get moving, if you're gonna do 2, you're gonna do 2. If you're gonna do 4, you're gonna do 4. But make sure you are low to drive, low to drive. Week 4, you're gonna get those 10 reps of 3 sets. Over weeks 1 and 2, we've built up to this point. We're now going to introduce the full burpee broad jump. Now there's variety in techniques that we're going to drill with Tash now, so you guys can choose what you feel comfortable with when you are approaching this movement. But remember, the fundamentals we learned over week 1 and week 2, they do home true here, so please pay attention. So, same position, those hands are going to go in front of those toes for me. From that position, you're going to drive those feet back as we did before, and you're going to drive it to the top. Remember, no press up, let the chest naturally sink to the ground. From there, driving forwards and then repeating that movement down. Now, alternately, if you wanted to drive forwards, put your hands down, you can also walk the feet in and drive again. Now, the advantage to walking the feet in is that there's less energy consumed, but it might be a little bit slower than throwing the legs forwards. So you need to figure out technically what works for you with the burpee broad jump. Week 3 of our Hyrox training, we are now going to introduce the sled. Now at Top Notch Thrower, we have something called a tank, which works slightly differently to what you have on race day. But the good thing about this piece of kit is the more effort you put in, the more it's going to push back. So when I ask Tash to start pushing this great piece of kit we have, I'm going to ask her to push everything she can into it. Now again, like the burpee broad jumps, there are a variety of techniques you can utilize when you are pushing the sled. You can push the tank. There is different ways that you can attack this problem. However, you guys need to try different things, like we worked on the ski erg, like we worked with the burpees, to make sure you pick the right technique that works for you. So, first position, Tash, if you don't mind holding on and having a nice big distance between the back of the kit, that's perfect. From there, you're gonna bring your right foot forward for me. Now, it's important from this position, team, you're gonna drive off the balls of the feet and push. Keep that chest low to the ground, generate those watts, and drive, and drive, and drive. Remember, with the tank, the harder we push, the harder it's going to push back. Now, the good thing, if you hold it there for me, the good thing about this piece of kit is if you're trying to break down the fundamentals and the technique, this will allow you to do that. Secondary technique, we're going to bring that chest nice and close to the bar and head through the gap. Now, from that position, we're going to adopt the same position from where the feet are, where the hips are, where the knees are. The chest position is just slightly different. So you're going to drive and push, drive and push, drive and push, drive and push. Fantastic. Keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. Good. Now, the first set and the second set, Tash was just showing us how this flows. Now on this set here, just so you guys see how the tank works, we're now going to really dig it in so you can see the machine fighting back to what Tash is putting in. So in 3, 2, 1, big force, 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 all the way through to the end. Give me that big 10 meters and hold it there. Now if you come around one more time, secondary technique, chest close, head through the gap, big force, big force, big force, and we are pushing, 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 all the way through the best you can, biggest force, biggest force, biggest force, and holding there. That is a sled push.
Right, to finish off the program with week number 4, we've got a 600 meter treadmill run. We've then got wall balls, 10 reps, 4 to 5 sets, followed by another 600 meter treadmill run. You've then got the full burpee broad jump. You've got 5 sets of 10 reps, followed by another treadmill run, 600 meters. Hyrox is running as Hyrox. You've then got the rower, 250 meters 4 times. Make sure you put yourself in a break between each set. And then you've got the ski erg, 250 meters 4 times, also with a break between each set. You've then got a 600 meter treadmill run, sandbag lunges. We're using a 10 kilo med ball, 10 meters, 6 to 7 sets. You then got a 600 meter treadmill run, and to end it off, you've got a sled push, 20 meters, 2 times.
So that is a 4-week instructional program into Hyrox and how to start your journey trying to become a Hyrox athlete, or whether you're just dabbling your toe in it to figure out if it's something you actually enjoy or want to pursue going forwards.
Now remember that this program is catered to you, but you can change it if you want. So if it's a little bit too much running, or if the intensity is a little bit too much, you can always regress, but you can also progress. If you find it's a little bit easy, up the intensity. Have fun.
Awesome. Have fun with it. Have fun.